As with all Monarch lens injection system cartridges, the lens will be most efficiently delivered if the cartridge is filled with room temperature viscoat, filled to the point that the viscoelastic reaches the back of the cartridge. Next, a small bolus of viscoat is placed at the edge of the lens case. The lens is grasped by one of its haptics using lens forceps and placed on the viscoat bolus. It's then regrasped at its haptic optic junction. Please note these forceps have round jaws to minimize contact with the lens surface. Orientation lens is confirmed by aligning it with the picture that's pre-printed on the top of the cartridge. The leading haptic and optic are directed into the back of the cartridge and advanced slightly. The closed forcep is then carefully passed over the top of the lens and used to push it down into the concavity of the lower portion of the cartridge chamber. The lens is then advanced further until the trailing haptic can be secured to the left of the haptic fixation post. Please note the reflection of the lens edge signifying the concave or downward roll of the lens, which is appropriate for the chamber position. With the plunger fully withdrawn, the cartridge is then laid into the groove of the Monarch 3 injector handpiece and slid forward until it locks into place. The plunger is then advanced carefully so as not to crimp or engage the trailing haptic. The plunger should only be moved in one direction during multi-piece lens placement, advanced until its threads reach the body of the injector, after which 2 turns will lock the lens into final position for injection. The lens is then inspected for haptic and optic position within the cartridge. The optic is seen to have been rolled nicely, and both haptics curve gently away from the optic in opposite directions. To insert the multi-piece lens, the tip of the cartridge is placed into the eye, bevel side down. That's perfect. The cartridge is then rotated clockwise until the bevel is facing up and left, which orients the leading haptic into its proper direction and plane. The lens is then advanced, directing that leading haptic into the capsular bag. As the optic begins to unfold, the cartridge will be returned counterclockwise to its original position, allowing the optic to be flat within the capsular bag. Finally, additional turn counterclockwise can often allow the trailing haptic to be delivered into the capsular bag as well. Actually, I think remaining viscoelastic will then be removed, first from behind the lens and then from in front. The polymer tip will be used to lift the edge of the lens and both irrigate and aspirate viscoelastic out from the capsular bag. The lens is then allowed to return to its central point in the capsule, and the anterior viscoelastic is removed without difficulty.